everyone. My name is Jen Rulon from jenrulon.com. Also a coach, Rulon Racing, 15-time Ironman Triathlete, but I am not here for me. I'm here to talk to some of my athletes that I have worked with over the years. And I want to introduce you to Bethany Davis. Bethany and I worked together when she wanted to do Ironman Texas. What year was that?
2018. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Has it been that long? Yeah, you're right.
It has.
Yeah. Bethany and I have seen each other over the years in San Antonio in the racing space and all that stuff. And her husband, Abel, actually put us together, I think, but we'll talk about that here in a bit. But she's got 5 beautiful kids, 3 beautiful grandbabies. I'm sure, like I've seen one of them. So I can't imagine how the other 2, I'm sure they're just stunning. And you are, are you an RN?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I thought, but you're more, are you admin now or no?
I'm in the leadership space. So
Okay,
I've been away from the bedside for many, many years. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Very cool. So tell me a little bit about you. I mean, I did an introduction, but tell me a little bit more and just sort of how you got, oh, I love this story. How did you get into running and triathlons?
Okay, sure. So yeah, I am a nurse and and you've already said I've got 5 kids, live here in San Antonio, Texas. I'm from Florida, so I'm a Texas transplant, but still very much a beach girl. Get to the beach every chance I get. So I'm going to say it's been I should be coming up on my 10-year anniversary from when I decided to start running. I was at that age, early 40s. I was going through some stuff and running just seemed like a good idea. So I wanted to train for a 5K. I thought that would just be like the coolest thing ever to do. So I started training to just to run. I'd never really tried running. I didn't grow up doing any kind of sports or anything. I did a little bit of like pep squad and dance team in high school, but that was it as far as organized anything. So I always wanted to be an athlete. I just never was. And so I was at the gym and there was a spin class I would go to, and I met a lot of runners and triathletes, and they're like, you really should, join us on a run sometime. So I was like, okay. And there was a 5K coming up. So I got some good shoes and started running. And I remember my very first race, it was the San Antonio Corporate Cup. It was their inaugural event, and the organization I worked for was going to be a part of it. So that was my goal. I'm going to do this 5K. And I remember it was a 3-loop. There was a track. It was at UIW. And then you went through through the woods. Yeah, like this little trail thing. It was super cute. So each loop was about about a mile. And I remember there was just it was like a rock concert. I remember feeling like I was at a rock concert. It was just so loud and so many people and so cool. And so we all take off, we go around the track, and then we go into the woods. And then suddenly it's really quiet because you don't hear the noise from the stands anymore. And you just hear people breathing. And that was kind of like a cool Zen moment. I'm like, this is neat. And then when you came back around for that next, loop, you hit the track, just an explosion of noise and cheering. And I was hooked, dude. I was like, okay, I'm doing this forever. So I just started like signing up for race after race, worked my way up to a half marathon and then to a full marathon. And I actually started I was still going to spin class. And I added in swimming because I was getting running injuries, just from overuse. And people like, you need to cross train, do these other things. And so I was okay at cycling. I didn't own a bike. So all my cycling was still indoors at the time. And I enjoyed that. But I was terrible at swimming, didn't know how to swim, had to learn how to swim. And started just kind of adding those in. Eventually I got a bike, started riding outside, really liked that. I actually did a century ride before I ever even did a triathlon. I don't know why I did that. That was my first group ride. That was my very first group ride.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh
did
my
Hot on
gosh.
Hill. I'd never done a group ride before. Why not ride 100 miles with people you don't know?
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
do anything easy. I always do things crazy.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing experience. So much fun. I highly recommend it. If you've never done a century ride just outside of triathlon,
Yes.
that's the way
Yes.
to do. So
Agreed.
much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. Finally, I worked my way up to, triathlon, did like an indoor try and then some sprints, did a couple of halves. And then I think I was at that point where I really wanted to, get serious about what I was doing. And that's when Abel's like, you really need to call my friend Jen. She comes into the bike shop all the time. I think you guys would be a good match, your personality. I think she would be good for you. And I think what he meant was, you don't like to be told what to do. Nobody can tell you what to do, but I think you'll listen to her is what he meant, because he knows how hard-headed I am.
Right.
So he was very, very sweet and politically correct about, I think
Yes.
she'd be good for you.
Yes. Oh, that's hilarious. That's
And
great.
he was right. He was right.
Yeah.
We clicked. It
We
was
did.
great chemistry. And I was a very good athlete for you.
You
I did
were.
exactly what you told me.
You did. You
And
did.
I remember after the Ironman was over, I was like, you know what? There is a method to her madness. Because even just after like the half Ironmans that I did with you, I remember thinking she knows what she's talking about. Everything that she said has come to pass. Yeah. So it just worked. Oh yeah.
Thank you. It's good to hear that, it's good to hear that. I do tell people that. I'm like, there is a method to my madness. And I know some people may not understand it. They may not, they may look at it and be like, what is she doing? It's like, no, I got it down, you guys. I've sort of done this. And
this is a recipe for success.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's because I've been there, done it. I have had coaches that have pushed me to a different level, and so now I know I can do that with my athletes by my own experience, by my own education, by my other coaches. Like, it makes sense,
Yeah.
I still remember at Ironman Texas being out there with you, like chasing you down. It was cold, right? Wasn't it?
I think that Galveston race was the
oh
cold.
My God.
That was, and I don't do cold.
Insane.
I do not do cold.
That's right. That picture of us, we're so bundled up.
I was blue. I remember being just blue.
And I remember y'all getting off the bikes going, what the F?
That was awful.
So cold. But then I remember Ironman Texas, because I remember when you started the swim, it was like 7:07. And like I was chasing you down, and all of a sudden, like I started doing the math. I'm like, oh shit, she's got 1.5 miles left. I'm like, she cannot walk. She's got to freaking run. So I'm like, where is she on the course? Like it was like, by this time it was like almost midnight. And I'm like, trying to find her. Like, Bethany, you got to get your ass in gear. You have to go. You have to go. And sure enough, you did it. You crossed that line. So let me ask you this. We sort of went through a whole bunch of questions. What was your favorite race? And it may not be your Ironman. What do you think?
So I want to say probably, gosh, that's a hard one. I'm probably the first time I did Galveston. So that half Ironman, because I remember, I don't know. I think for a lot of folks, normally Galveston is hot.
That's true.
It was that one year it was cold. And I probably would have loved that one had it not been cold. But for me, I remember coming back on the bike after the turnaround and thinking, I'm halfway through this. I'm not tired. I'm not sore. I'm right where I need to be with nutrition and hydration. Everything is clicking. And it was a balmy day. You're going over the water. And I just remember being like super zen, thinking I could do this forever. This is like just the best. And so got off the bike, got on the run. And right towards the end of the run, it was like crazy hot, because that's usually Galveston's usually crazy hot and humid. And I saw like the Red Bull stand, and I don't do any of that. Like, I'll drink 1 cup of coffee a day. That's it. I don't do soda. I don't do any of that.
Right.
But I was beginning to feel a little peaked, and I was good on my nutrition. So that was great. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to just try that little just a little bit. And so I did it, and it tasted disgusting, but I literally flew across that finish line when I was done, and I felt like I could keep going. I remember telling Abel, I'm like, I think I could keep going.
He's like, what happened? Yeah.
And I remember that was the first time, I think that was my second half Ironman that I had done, that I felt like everything was finally starting to come together. Because my first one, I bonked.
That was, wasn't that Lubbock? Wasn't your first one Lubbock?
No, my very first one was Kerrville.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I did Kerrville, and then I did Galveston, and then I did Lubbock. I loved Lubbock. Oh my gosh. That was another one. You love it because of how hard.
Yes.
And I think they've changed the course since
they have. It's so sad. Yes.
And that it is sad, because it used to be, I think at one point, a qualifier. It was a hard race.
It's a hard race, and you climb, you go in a canyon, you go out of the canyon.
Yes.
And it's hot. And like, I don't like the one that we did, I think it was a 2-loop around the lake, which was great, but you still had to climb, out on that hill, on that run.
And it's harder to run down than it is to run up.
God, yes.
Insane. Yeah. I love that race because of the level of difficulty involved. Just the fact that you could do it. And I'm used to being like middle of the pack, not that race. Not in that race. That's a hard race. You have to be good to be middle of the pack. So I was perfectly fine being back of the pack.
Yeah. My first half was Ironman 70.3 Lubbock 2002.
So that's when you went out and back.
That's when we went out to the
and the shoes were like melting on the ground.
And the shoes were like sticking to my God. Like,
heard that story. Yeah.
But it was like very Kona-esque. Cause now since I've been to Kona, I'm like, this was Lubbock. Like going in that power plant, going towards the power plant, and that was Lubbock. Yeah. Oh my God.
That's what they say. I wish they wouldn't have changed it, but I guess, it is what it is. But yeah, I loved it when it was hard. I do.
I know. Right. I know. Oh my God, we could keep talking forever.
I know.
Okay. So here's a question for you. What have you taken away with your training and racing, and how do you apply it to your everyday life now?
Okay. So, kind of twofold. I have noticed that, in my professional life, I'll start there and then I'll finish with personal. It has given me what they call grit. And I think people have finally discovered how important grit is. And it's basically something that you develop, you don't have to be a racer to do this or triathlete to do this, but you have to become comfortable being uncomfortable, embracing the suck. You have to be able to get to that point where like, this doesn't feel great, but I'm going to be here for 4 more hours. So here we go. And you just get used to doing that. Your resilience, your ability to say, this isn't going to last forever. This is going to be 4 hours. It's going to feel like hell. But then when I'm done, I'm going to feel amazing because I did that. And this is building towards something else. And it's being able to step outside of your body, to push yourself ways that you never thought possible. And I have been able to apply that in my career. And I've done very well succeeding and moving up in the world using that.
That's amazing.
And I have seen lots of articles since then come out and saying, why are triathletes so good in the leadership, space? And it's that. Plus just the whole, that mentality of it takes a team, recognizing others, pushing others. And in the racing world, there's a lot, we're very much a family. Everybody encourages one another. I can't tell you how many races I've been on where I'd see somebody struggling. I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's go. And we're running together. That's what
we're talking about that. Yep.
It's true. And even the elite folks at races, they'll go change and come back to the finish line to help encourage you to the finish line. It's very, very much just a great community. So that's professionally something I didn't know until I had already gotten through it. And I read an article one day, and then I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Yeah. So I'm glad that folks are seeing that now. And then personally, something that I started doing shortly after COVID hit, probably a couple of months. We had, yeah, it was a couple of months for us, because I say, I know COVID hit, when it hit,
Right,
but for
right.
hitting San Antonio, it was like March 29th or 2020. So in May, we had the death of Ahmaud Arbery come out on video. And that next morning I was running, and I remember thinking, I had always been so jealous of male runners, because they could always go out anytime, day or night, in the dark by themselves.
Yep.
And we can't do that.
We can't.
Run in the sun, run with group, run with weapons. I mean,
run with our
they
phone.
just go, and they never have to worry about anything. And I'd always been really jealous of that. And then it just was like, he was running and he wasn't safe. And I just, my mind, when you run, your mind's just going all crazy. And it's like, how are my Black male friend runners, how are they dealing with this right now? Because my female runners, we've always known we're not safe. And my Black female friend runners always knew it too. How are my male friends, the Black male friends, or all male friends, how were they like, whoa, we're not safe either? No, you're not. And so at the end of that run, I dedicated it to him, because I was thinking about him the whole entire run. And then a couple of days later, I think there was a group run for his birthday.
Right.
And I think I did that one.
What did we run? Like a 2, we ran
2.2. I think he was turning 22.
Yeah.
I was very mindful that I was not going to just throw him into a 4-mile run, which is what normally what I do. I was like, I'm going to do 1.1 and come back. And it's hard. It's hard to run short distances.
It is. When
you're, if you're used to doing 4 to 5, not that that's long, but just running 2 when you're like, I'm already done. I just barely got warmed up. But, and then I think a couple of days later, the news of Breonna Taylor broke. Mm-hmm. And by then I'm just gutted. Just as a mom, having kids the same age as all of these people that are being murdered, my mind was just not handling it. So I felt like I needed to dedicate my run to her. And then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna dedicate every run going forward to every Black man, woman, and child that is killed either from police brutality or just lynching. And that's what I did. So I came home and I was like, okay, I don't just want to use the normal hashtags. I want it to stand out. So I actually went online and tried to find a hashtag that didn't exist. And I mean, it does now, because I've been doing it for 2 years, and I'm sure other people have probably used it. So I found hashtag I run for BLM did not exist. It was nowhere, no social media. Yeah. It's like, I just wanted my own thing. Yeah. And it was easy to find. And so every run that I do, I feature a victim of, like I said, either lynching or police brutality, Black man, woman, or child. Sometimes it's a group. So even though I've run 400 something runs, it's well over that many victims, because some of them are groups where we don't have names or towns. It can be like a whole massacre. But if I can get like a name and a picture of a person, I run to honor them. And so the post that I put on social media, and it's spread over several platforms, so there's lots of visibility, will have their name, and then the hashtag I run for BLM, and then of course hashtag Black Lives Matter. And I put what run number it is. Oh, that's just so folks can see. Yeah. It's like, okay, we're up in the 400s now. I mean, there's
so you hit you hit the what mark? Your mile
1,800. I'm on 1,800 miles this week, just the day before yesterday. I haven't put the post up yet. I need to do that. And I'm like 430. I'm not sure. It's over 400. It's crazy.
And like you said, prior to us talking or recording, like you even said, you're like, I don't think I'm going to run out of names.
I'll never run out. No, it's because I started out, I actually have a spreadsheet to keep track of everybody. Sure. And I started off, because there was like lots of lists, especially when George Floyd came out, there was all these lists of people. you
Yeah.
know, you go through those pretty quick, and then I'll run across, you know, articles, and I'll save them. And sometimes it's just daunting, because I'll have like a big old list I'm working off of, and then like another one will happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
nothing.
Like, no.
Still
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a total plug here, but my self-motivation strategies for women book is on Amazon. I could sign, seal, and deliver it to you, but I don't have any books down in Costa Rica. So, but you were my introduction for chapter 9, because of the chapter 9 was about community and just taking a stand. And that's exactly what you did. And the timing was impeccable, because I immediately knew that I was going to talk about you and what you've done for the Black Lives Matter community. And I know it's a big thing that you've done. And I love that, you know, like for me, I think I posted the black square on Instagram, and I ran for Aubrey. But did I continue? No, I didn't. But you have done that, and kudos to you. And I think that's incredible. And I think I honor that. And I think that's absolutely incredible that you continue that. And so, yeah, thanks for doing that.
I appreciate it.
My one athlete, Jill, always says to me, she goes, you know what you say, Jen, a lot? She goes, and here's the thing. So I was like, and here's the thing for the very last question for you is, in your races, in whether you were working with me or whether you weren't working with me, were you able to cross the finish line with a smile?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can do. No matter how bad I feel, I will smile. If there's a race camera around, I will smile. And I will sprint, even though my legs were completely dead on a couple of my races. I always sprint the finish line. It's some weird thing up here I have to do. And I do it every time.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, thanks for jumping on with me and just talking. And like I told Jeff, I'm like, this is a great, like I ask you guys for testimonies all the time, and for somebody to actually write it out, like it just takes time. So I just got your testimony as well. So
awesome. And it's good to see you again and catch up with you. Absolutely.
I know, it's good to see you. And thanks, Bethany, for doing this. And this should be on, we're going to start putting these on some platforms, and I'll keep you posted. So
cool. Awesome.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.